Well, build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance that's buried in his eye. Well, he gave me bars, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I dry my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone.
Hello everybody, welcome to Quick Bang. This is episode 3. I'm your host, Matty. I had to think about that for a wee second. There's other things were going on my screen. No often I forget who I am, at least not a midweek night. We're here to talk about Hibs beating St Mirren 2-1. Nearly forgot about the result as well. It's all too confusing for me. This is old age doesn't come itself. Right, so we've got the game and also transfer window which closed yesterday. Kaiser Soze, I'm going to pick on you first. What's your thoughts, mate?
The night's game, I was quite scared about it because obviously St Mirren were on a bit of fire. They'd done Dundee United 5-1, then they'd done Celtic, and I thought they're going to rock up and give us a bit of a game here. It was quite uneventful the first half, and it was a bit flat. But I think that keeper obviously getting sent off just changed everything. Not everything for the flatness of the game or us being out of ideas, but I scored a set piece, just amazing. I never thought you would say him scoring for a set piece. But it was a scrappy game. But it's games like that are going to be the difference between finishing maybe second,
maybe second
now, and finishing fourth or fifth. But no, I didn't enjoy the game because I was so nerve-wracked to it, but so chuffed that we got away with the 3 points.
Aye, massive 3 points. Funny you saying about the set piece as well, because Stephen Boyle went to take that corner. I literally just kind of went, oh, fuck's sake.
I think everybody did too. It's like, oh, fuck, no again.
I was just saying that a couple of seconds later anyway. Leo, how are you feeling about things?
Brilliant. Great 3 points against a side that are flying at the moment. Scored. I mean, when they turned with Dundee United like that, and then obviously beat Celtic, I was like, "Oh, here we go. This will be the one side that they us again and got the fans worried again." But brilliant, good battling performance as well. Because there isn't easy conditions either.
No, the conditions were probably a lot worse than they looked. Again, on the Hibs TV commentary, they were saying the pitch was looking perfect in that. But you see how many of the passes went all over the place that maybe wasn't quite as good as it looked.
There was a wee bit at the start of the second half when the odds of the camera came in and you seen the balls on the halfway line and it started rolling away with the wind, and that just tells you everything about the conditions, I think.
Aye. Liam, what about you? What was your thoughts on the game?
I mean, it wasn't great to watch. It wasn't a great spectacle. I felt like we were, from the moment that Anik got sent off, I felt like we were going to win the game. Even when the Vika scored, I still felt at 2-1 we had plenty about us. I didn't really feel like St Mirren created any chances that worried me. I think there's a lot of people saying they'd seen that story before when they got one back and there was maybe a few squeaky bums, but I didn't feel it, to be honest. I thought we were comfortable. I thought we dealt with everything that came into the box. And we've been accused of being fragile and lacking resilience and all those things the last few weeks. But actually, I thought they stood up to that pretty well, because you could see that potentially weaker sides, if they conceded a goal in that situation, maybe would have crumbled, but we didn't. So no, credit to them. I thought they defended well.
You must be one of the few calm folk about the place. I had that thing, when maybe it's just me, but already in my head I'm picturing Jim Goodwin getting interviewed talking about character and resilience and how he was proud of his boys, and I was getting fucking annoyed about it as well. It didn't even happen. Fairly standard. Jamie, what about you, mate?
Well, I struggled to watch most of the game, to be honest. I was flipping between different bits and bobs, all legal, of course. But I was absolutely struggling. I managed to see the goals and I managed to see the sending off. So it was definitely a sending off and 2 good goals. Well, the penalty was definitely a penalty as well. So it's a good win from, as I say, they're coming off a couple of really good performances. And after yesterday's debacle and folk messaging Hibs and people who work there, and this is shite, you're not showing this, you're not showing that, I thought you needed to get the win tonight just to kind of peak that down a wee bit. Transfer deadline day was a bit of I'm not going to lie, there was loads of different bits, loads of rumours, will he, won't he, all that nonsense, bullshit coming out of the Birmingham City fans' mouths was just ridiculous. Glad we held on to Kevin Nisbet and Porto, but the way it was going, we could have ended up anywhere with loads of different signings, like Aberdeen. So, I thought a good performance by all accounts for what I can gather. I'm glad we've got the 3 points out there.
And Owen, were you satisfied the red card was the right decision?
Yeah, it was a definite red card. I thought we were actually pretty poor for the first 20 minutes or so. And just before the red card, we started to get into the game, and obviously the red card changes the game. And I kind of agree that after the red card, we were definitely going to win, weren't we? And it should have been more than 2-1, to be honest with you. In the end, it should have been a lot more comfortable. They kind of got their goal against the run of play. But yeah, I'm pretty happy. It was nice to see the two boys who were meant to be leaving yesterday at least get on the pitch as well. And hopefully that means that their heads back in it for Hibs. And Porter definitely was very happy about scoring for Hibs, wasn't he?
Definitely. I looked like he enjoyed that one. Andy, what was your take on it all?
Much the same as everybody else. I was delighted to get away with the 3 points. I thought we played well in stages. Back end of the first half, early start of the second half, fell out the game again. But we never passed the ball for me. We never passed the ball well enough for me, and we're not going through the phases, and we're not going through the stages, and it's just too laborious at times for me, But we're getting the points. We're now third in the league, so who am I to argue with them?
The passing was it was frustrating. Certainly for a good chunk of the first half, I thought we looked all right moving the ball about until it got to where it mattered, into the final third, and then the amount of passes. And again, maybe it's the conditions. If you've been kind to the players, because St Mirren were also pretty shit in the final third as well. But any time that it needed an accurate pass, the amount of times it went to nobody or out the pitch or just too hard, too soft, it was frustrating. Lee, what was your take on it?
I think the first half for me, shelling the ball up to the final third and just chasing a lost cause was kind of pissing me off in the first 20 minutes. And I was thinking, is this going to be another day where obviously we're just shelling things up and just not getting anything with it? The red card absolutely changed the game. There's no doubt about it. St Mirren obviously started to hold off a bit in the second half, and it was good for Hibs in the second half. We started to play the ball, we started to play it through the middle, we started to create a bit of chances. I was a bit surprised they took Cadden off. I thought Cadden was doing okay, and again, from a width perspective, I think Cadden's really making a difference out wide. But I think at the end of the day, it's a great win. It's another away win as well, and we're up to third place. So as everybody said, we can't complain. We're winning away. We're winning away from home quite convincingly at the moment as well, which is great to see. We just need to turn that round in our home form starting on Saturday.
Can I ask a question? Was Cadden or McGregor taken off for any particular reason, or just to get the Owen Nisbet on?
I think Cadden was for shape, and he was trying to get and just change it a bit up, because obviously they were doing the 10 men and he was going to try to stretch them, for me.
Porter can take the ball out a lot more, though, can't he? He's got the legs that McGregor doesn't have, and I think that's why he came on in the second half, because he's got the legs to come out from the back and really stretch the midfield, be like almost like an extra man in the middle of the park.
That's a good question. I think when we watched, in fact, just moments before we scored, I'd tweeted to say that we weren't finding a way to break down St Mirren, who literally at that point just had, two banks of men, and there was no space to get through at all. And I think taking Cadden off and putting Boyle wide with his pace, it just changed the game. And then you got Nisbet to come into the middle and cause a bit of a nuisance there. And obviously we scored straight away. I'm not sure how much the change had to do with the goal, because that comes a corner, but it definitely the balance of play shifted once we made the change.
As you said, it worked. Do you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, I was questioning, because, as I say, I thought Cadden was having quite a decent game. But the man that impressed me tonight was Jamie Murphy. I thought Jamie Murphy was absolutely brilliant tonight. I think he's definitely getting his sharpness back. Obviously, he hit the post as well, which was unfortunate. But I was really impressed with Jamie Murphy tonight. I thought he done really well, and he done great for the penalty as well. Even that bit of turn of pace as well was superb. But no, really impressed with Jamie Murphy tonight.
It's a great part. It's like the Jamie Murphy. Like, I feel like he has defenders right away when he goes 1-on-1 with them. He lets them make the decision, and then he goes opposite wide every time. He's so bright on the ball, so bright.
Kaiser Soldier, coming to you. How do you think we're looking coming to the last part of the season, and how's the squad looking for you?
I think a couple of injuries might be the difference, but I think we've turned into Aberdeen this season for all intents and purposes. And I just hope we do them on Saturday. Like, that's, I think, well, obviously where we are with the points, the game in hand, 2 points, it'd just be perfect. But this is when Hibs get you in it, when it's just there on our plate and we can do it. This is when the circus comes in it. So hopefully on Saturday. I mean, with Aberdeen signings, hopefully they put 3 up front. Maybe got a chance.
Aberdeen look like they're struggling now, eh?
Yeah.
3 superstar strikers that they're only doing much today. Don't talk about it.
I'm sure somebody said that Boyle himself has got more goals than those 3 combined this season, so it's maybe not that great a transfer window that everybody was making it out to be for Aberdeen. Andy, I'll come to you then. How are you feeling about the squad?
I'm quite happy, obviously, having kept Nisbet and Porteous, which was massive, and we've knocked back good money. So we've made a statement of intent that we're going to go for it. Preferably, I would have wanted another striker in just to give him a wee bit of more ammunition up front and a wee bit more competition for Doidge and Nisbet. Obviously, Boyle's getting played up top just now as well, but I'm still seeing him more as a winger. Cadden has been doing really well since he came in. Jackson Irvine's just been outstanding for a man that's not played for 10 months or something played in, and he's just been absolutely outstanding. And we've got a lot to look forward to. I've struggled this season watching Hibs because I found them quite boring. I found them quite laborious, as I've said earlier on. But this is a time of the season where it's all about making a statement, and you have to just batter out these 12 games, and you've got to win as many of them as possible.
Do you think we say, like, we've got like the Scotland left back situation with Cadden and Boyle? See, like, just that way you try and get A2 on the park for the sake of having them on the park, like playing Boyle up front. That, I don't know what it is about Boyle playing up front, but it's just, no, it doesn't feel right because he's obviously scored the penalty, but just he's better cutting up teams on the right rather than trying to play through the middle. He is good at that, but it just seems like he's been moved out of position to get Cadden in, and that's maybe got to snooker us if we come up against a bit of quality, if that makes sense.
They're trying to shoehorn Boyle in, definitely. No two ways about it. But Cadden is a good quality addition, and if you've got that pace, both of them running at teams, there've got to be a lot of different defenders moved out of position to allow other midfielders to kind of move into a good position to get goals. I think that's why you'll probably see more of Jamie Murphy. Keep him fit, and he'll be a huge asset for goals.
Liam, I'll come to you. Just say, what were you thinking about that? Then what's just been said there? Are you agreeing or?
No, I agree. Like, I mean, I think though that Cadden and Irvine's like match sharpness hasn't been great, but their ability and what they've shown has maybe changed Jack Ross's thinking with the transfer window. I think that obviously whether they were going to start every week, obviously not. It was still up in the air with how fit they were going to be, but having the opportunity to play Cadden more on the right, push Boyle more central now, and he now technically becomes the third striker if Cadden's going to play right every week. So I think maybe his form in the last few games, Irvine's as well, has maybe changed his mind a wee bit as to what their targets were. Obviously, the Nisbet and the Porteous thing was a big thing that they would have had to be really reactive if they two left so late in the window. And I think the fact they never left the targets they were going to go for, if we did, that was the window. So it was like, right, maybe just better keeping the squad as is and moving through there. And I think
for me, it was Jamie Gillan's departure.
Mm-hmm. I think it was better for him to go on loan because he wasn't getting used. I'd have liked to have seen him much more. But because he wasn't getting used, I was like, well, he's better off playing games because there's no point in him sitting on the bench at Hibs. And I'd like to see him get more minutes, 100%. I don't think he was there to play every week and start every week, but he could have made a difference off the bench. But he wasn't getting any time. So best thing for him, 100%. I think.
I think we must have been close to signing a striker as well. With Hibs not actually coming out and saying anything at all, usually we'd say that's business done. Usually about between 9 and 10 o'clock on Twitter. There was nothing like that. I think they were trying to get something done right to the very last minute. Believe that Shankland was definitely hot on the heels. Had Nisbet left, we definitely probably had a good chance of bringing him in.
Do you think we would have paid $3 million for Shankland though? He's shite.
Nah, we'd have bought 500,000 is probably what you would have had to pay for him. They're struggling for cash.
They're struggling. Dundee United are really, really struggling financially. Yeah. And they gambled on him, and it's not looking like it's paying off financially.
He's a massive earner, I know. He's the biggest earner at the club.
I'd be interested. Right, I'm going to come in for Liam here because I'm getting my Liams and Leons mixed up. So Liam, what's your take on the situation?
I think I'm going to use one of those wanky football phrases that's been thrown about recently, and that's tactical flexibility. So I think if you look at the signings that Jack Ross is making, he's buying guys that can fill in more than one position. I think you see that with Cadden. I think he's trying to do that with Boyle. It allows us to change system during the course of the game. And I think it has worked for him because quite often I think first half we've not looked great in a lot of games in the first half, and he's had to change system either at some point during the first half or at half time, and that's quite often brought us results. I'm not saying that was the case tonight, but quite a lot of the season that has been the case. So it's guys that can do more than one job. Predominantly the guys that you brought in, I think most of those guys have been a success, and the obvious one that probably hasn't been a success is Jay Wright, but we'll leave him alone for tonight because he didn't get on the park, so harsh to criticise him when he's not even had a kick of the ball. But no, I think the signings have worked out well. I think Cadden and Irvin good signings. We probably, if we had more than 12 or 11 games or how many games are left in the league this season, I would probably be a lot more concerned with the depth in the squad. But when I looked at that bench tonight, ironically, he didn't use the bench tonight, but when I looked at that bench tonight, I thought that's a decent bench. There's some good players that can come off that bench and change the game, or from my perspective anyway, there's some good players on that bench. So I think there's quite a lot to be positive about still just now. I think the squad, there's a lot of good quality. There's maybe not quite the depth that we would like, there's maybe not quite the centre forwards we would like, but I think there's options, there's guys that we can move around the pitch to make things happen. And we saw Irvin on his debut against Kilmarnock played one off the striker. That's an option for us if we need to do that. You know, we want a guy that we can go long to. So there's enough about that squad, I think, to put in a challenge for third. Let's see.
And Lee, what would you say? What was your take on the transfer activity?
I was all right up until we loaned Gillen. The reason being is that I suppose you need people to keep your strikers on their toes. The problem with Christian Doidge at the moment, he can't buy a goal. As much as he's trying, he just can't score now for whatever reason. And I suppose my concern was at the time is obviously as Nisbet just like thrown his toys at the pram, no cause he didn't get his move. Historically, it's happened to him before. It happened at Rafe, it happened at Dunfermline. So at the end of the day, he's not always had great second halves of the seasons when he's done what he's done. So that was my concern. I get the guy's points. I think we do have a lot of versatility in the team to obviously navigate that issue. I still think Hibs will be looking in the free agent market. I think if something does eventually come up, I think Hibs might explore that, because I do think that we are still short of an attacking option. Even on the bench tonight, we had, on the park at the time, we had Boyle, Jamie Murphy, Doidge and Nisbet up front. See if we even tried to change that again. From an attacking sense on the bench, we didn't have anybody. So that's why I'm thinking, do Hibs maybe need to have a look at the free agent market and maybe if something comes up, explore it. But yeah, I was a bit pissed off last night, but I'm fine now. We've won, so I'll go back into my books for now.
Everything's good again. Owen, what's your prediction? Are we going to finish third, or do you think Aberdeen will have too much for us, or Livy for that matter?
I think Saturday's a big test, isn't it? Jack Ross, whenever there's been a big test, he's failed. Really, the semi-finals, the games against Old Firm. So yeah, it's a big one. If we can beat Aberdeen, we might have turned a corner, and yeah, I'd be confident for third. But if we don't get a result on Saturday, I can't see us getting third at all. It's fine margins, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah, I think we'll go 5 points clear Aberdeen if we beat them at the weekend, which would be quite significant. Have they?
Yeah, they'll still have a game in hand on us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's against
Is it?
Celtic though.
I think they're going to play you. That's no guarantee now, is it?
It's true enough.
Got a better goal difference as well.
Someone's going to drop points.
We do, aye. Yep.
Matty, can you not speak to that boy that you had on the podcast and ask him if we can get Yaya Toure?
Well, we were trying to kind of twist his arm last night, but he was
absolutely brilliant.
he wasn't for it. Right, we'll wrap up there. Thanks everybody for coming on and sharing your thoughts. I'll do a wee quick last round the table. If you've got anything else pressing that you want to say, just to summarise. Guys, I suppose I'll start with you. Anything just to finish us off on?
Chuffed to bits that we've got the 3 points and hopefully we do the sheep on Saturday.
Happy days. Leon.
Delighted with the result. Delighted for Ryan Pochas after the grief he's been taken, and massive game at the weekend, and I think we'll finish third.
Superb. Liam.
Aye, nothing more to add other than good 3 points, and I think we're definitely in a shout at third.
Superb. Right, Jamie.
I just hope that fans can now see that it's a change in regime. We're not the Farmer Petrie organisation anymore. We're not selling players at the drop of a hat, and things are looking up for Hibs. Good result tonight.
Nice one. Owen.
Yeah, the same as everyone else. I'm happy with the 3 points, and I really hope that we can beat the Sheep on Saturday.
Nice one, Andy.
Big result tonight and an even bigger game on Saturday. Let's go, Hibs.
Let's do it. Lee, final word to you.
Massive 3 points tonight. We sorted our home form. We're guaranteed third.
Yes, that's what I like to hear. Right, guys, thanks very much for joining us. We'll be back with short bangers tomorrow, so fire in your questions to us on Twitter, and then we'll have long bangers on Monday after the game at the weekend, hopefully talking about a nice wee win. Right, thanks very much, guys. We'll catch you later.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink